Welcome to the Signet Radio Hour. I'm Luann Moldovan, your host and the director of today's show. All our performances are free, thanks to the generous support from our sponsor, Ronnie LaCroute. Today we bring you Withering Looks by Maggie Fox and Sue Riding, the UK's Laurel and Hardy of literary deconstruction, says The Guardian. A comic gem, Withering Looks is a side-splitting literary spoof from a distinctly female perspective. Our lovely actors are Sarah Lucht, Vanna O'Brien, and Louisa Sermel. And now, Withering Looks.
Hello, gentle listeners. My name is Edith Squimperton, and I will be your eyes on this journey, helping to enrich your experience and imagine what you cannot see. Withering Looks by Maggie Fox and Sue Riding. The introduction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of our organisation, that's the National Institute for Bringing History to Life Society, I'd like to welcome you all here in... You've noticed it, haven't you? It's lovely, isn't it? I chose the colour myself. Old Rose, it's called. It was actually my bridesmaid's dress. I wore it at my best friend's wedding. I'm just glad I didn't cut off the bottom to make a cocktail frock. You know how you do and it never looks right, does it? I knew it would come in handy, and so it has. Oh, I've also got a matching bonnet. I'll just put it on to give you the full effect. Are you ready? Hello! What do you think? Nice and bright, isn't it? Olivia says the Brontë sisters wouldn't have worn bright colours, but I say they would have done given half the chance. Oh, but we've not yet been introduced, have we? My name's Audrey. Hello. So I don't know yours. Does seem rude, doesn't it? But there's nothing for it. And now, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague. Now, Olivia's a professional actress. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a volunteer for the National Institute for Bringing History to Life Society, or Nibbles, as we call it. I'm just here because I'm potty about the Brontes. But Olivia's a professional, you see. She's on professional rates, equity rates. You know, I don't even get my expenses. So, please give a warm welcome for my good friend, Olivia Marchant.
Olivia enters and does a twirl in her gown.
As you can see, Olivia's gone for the subtle shades.
It's authentic, Audrey. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our organisation, that's the National Institute for Bringing History to Life.
Just on that bit, Olivia.
We'd like to welcome you to our show, Withering Looks.
They exchange a withering look.
Can I tell you a little bit about Olivia?
No,
I've just
Audrey.
seen one or two of them nudging each other, and yes, she has been on television.
Oh.
She had a line in Downton Abbey.
Oh, no.
And she got paid 500 quid for a date.
Audrey, people aren't interested in how much I got paid. They're here to see the Brontes. So, on with our show, Withering Looks.
They simultaneously do a withering look.
Withering Looks
Another withering look.
has been specially conceived, if I can use that word in mixed company, to give you a dramatic and yet educational insight into the lives and works of the Brontë sisters.
And for all of you literature students in the audience, we shall be popping in some exam tips as we go along. And if you've got any queries, just put up your hand.
And someone will come and sort you out.
Olivia exits.
Just before we begin, I'd like to clear up a little query. You're all about to shout at me and say, but there were 3 Brontë sisters. Why are there only 2 of you? Well, I don't want to depress you with talk of government cutbacks and arts funding. So suffice it to say, Anne's just popped out for a cup of sugar. So does that solve your problem? Good. Well, let's get on.
Enter Olivia. The introductory song.
There lived 3 maids up high on a hill, wind and wuthering, rain and chill. There lived these maids, they were sisters 3,
Charlotte,
Emily and Anne Brontë. Wind and wuthering, rain and frost, don't go out on the moors, my dear. You might get lost. The Reverend Brontë, man of God, was thought by his parishioners to be rather odd. He raised his brood in a parsonage chill, and those that didn't die at once were seriously ill. Wind and wuthering, steaming breath, don't go out on the moors, my dear, you'll catch your death.
They all wrote books for something to do.
Charlotte,
Emily,
and little Anne too.
They wrote these books, their fame has spread. Thanks to English O-level, they're quite widely read.
Wind and wuthering, hail and storm, don't go out on the moors, my dear, to try and get warm. Their lives were brief, but not so their fame, and Haworth every tea shop it bears their name. They'd be amazed, for they weren't great cooks, how their Brontë biscuits have outsold their books. Wind and wuthering, drear and flat, don't go out on the moors, my dear, without a hat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scene 1. Audrey, as Charlotte, leans against the mantelpiece reading a book. Olivia, as Emily, bursts in to the sound of howling wind noises.
Oh, what a night! A night not fit for man nor beast.
Where did you go, Emily dear?
Oh, on the moors. I went on to Top Withens.
That's nice, dear.
Yes, I was on Penistone Crag.
Penistone.
Oh, it was wonderful out there, with the wind in my bonnet. Looking out, I could see as far as... I could see the wild purple heather, the soaring eagles, the wailing wind, and the twisted shapes of the blasted stumps. I could spend my life up there, Charlotte. I feel such a close affinity with the moors, Charlotte. I am the moors.
Yes, dear, you've got a bit of bracken stuck in your cloak.
Have I? You see, I hadn't even noticed.
And I noticed it straight away. And I don't know what you've trodden in, dear, but it's all over the carpet.
There is an awkward pause.
Well, I've had quite a nice day. Father's had another of his turns and has sawn off all the backs of the chairs in the study. Brother Branwer's been having an affair with his employer's wife and has got the sack. The Luddites have been revolting in the village and... Tiddles has just died of tuberculosis. But otherwise things have been fairly quiet.
Poor Tiddles. We must bury him at the foot of the graveyard, which looks out onto the moors, with its wild purple heather, the soaring eagles, the wailing wind, and the twisted shapes of the blasted stumps.
Yes, Emily. Come and sit by the fire. You must be half perished with the cold. Come, I've got a roaring blaze here. I'll just stoke it up a bit. That's better. Oh, I'd best put Tiddles out.
She drops Tiddles out the window. No animals have been harmed in this podcast, especially cats.
I see we have new neighbours, sister.
What, you mean in the ruined old manor house said to be haunted where no one dare set foot except for the wind, of course, which whistles through the stone passages and worries the lattice windows?
No, next door.
Ah, you mean Ravaged Heath House?
Yes, it has been taken by a Mr. Moorcock and his sister.
That would be Miss Moorcock.
Yes, extraordinary. Do you know her then, sister?
No, merely a cunning piece of guesswork on my part, sister. Did you manage to see anything of her, Emily?
Yes, I saw her walking in the bottom field. She seemed to be a singular woman of average height, nose slightly retroussé, wide, full mouth, even teeth, but it was a bit dark, so I could only hazard a guess.
Do you know anything of her, sister?
Nothing of her sister, but she's a wealthy woman, worth £400 a year, said to be a great beauty and a competent needlewoman.
Oh, and what of her brother, Mr. Moorcock?
Well, He is a tall, dark, elegant creature with strong, purposeful strides and great business acumen, judging by that sneer.
We must visit them, sister.
We must leave our card.
Charlotte and Emily open the doors and then shut the doors abruptly.
Perhaps later.
When the storm has died down.
They freeze in a withering look.
Now, I can imagine that some of you literature students have been wondering for quite some time and are thinking, where have our exam tips got to? We brought our pens and jotters and we've not written a thing. So here come the exam tips. Now, in last year's exam paper, there was a question entitled, How did the Brontë sisters write their books? We're now going to illustrate this point for you.
Scene 2. Picture here a silent writing scene. Charlotte and Emily seated at the table, quills poised, they start to write. Imagine scratchy quill noises. And after a time, Charlotte's quill becomes blunt and she starts to sharpen it noisily.
Can you stop that?
What's the matter, Emily?
Can you stop?
Can't hear what you're saying.
They both collapse on the table.
So, not a lot of chit-chat while they were working. And obviously, Charlotte was the more prolific.
Another exam question which pops up from time to time is this next one. Why was the writing of the Brontes so similar? We shall now demonstrate that point.
Picture, once again, a silent writing scene, but this time Emily accidentally knocks her quill off the edge of the table.
Oh.
As she bends down to pick it up, Charlotte peers over to see what she has written.
Oh.
And then goes back to her own writing. Then Charlotte knocks her quill off the table. And Emily peers over to see what Charlotte has written.
So, there you are. And that brings us nicely onto our next scene, in which we meet a new character.
Do we?
Yes, Nellie, the housekeeper. Because don't think the Brontes wash their own knickers.
Audrey.
Scene 3. There is the sound of torrential rain, thunder and lightning. Charlotte stands by the window looking out at the moors. Enter Nellie, the Brontes' old devoted nurse.
All right, me lovely.
Oh, Nellie, our doddering old nurse.
Where's your sister Anne?
She's just popped to the post.
There's a letter for her.
Thank you, Nellie.
Nellie hands her the letter and then hangs about.
Do you want to sit down, Nellie?
I thought you'd never ask. Me poor old bones.
Mind your dress near the fire. How long have you been with us now as our housekeeper, Nellie?
40 years, woman and maid, my dear. There bain't be another mistress in this district I'd rather serve. I brought you into this world, Lord save me, and nursed your poor dear mother, God rest her soul.
Nellie blows her nose in her apron.
Oh, Nellie, I'm so unhappy.
Buries her head in Nellie's wet apron.
I know you are, miss, but if you wanted to leave, well, I wouldn't stand in your way. I got a few pennies put by which you're welcome to have.
Oh, Nellie, I couldn't take your hard-earned savings. It wouldn't be nearly enough.
But if you want to go to that London, miss, I'd help you. I'd come with you every step of the way.
You must look after your own family, Nellie.
Oh, miss, my family hasn't seen me for 20 years, my dear. There's so much to do at the parsonage, what with all of you dying all the time. Not that I'm bitter, mind. I would like to see me 7 children one day, though.
Yes, Nelly, don't go on so. Honestly, you're like a bee in a jug with your prattle, you funny old Yorkshire woman.
Where's your sister, Emily?
Out on the moors, I expect.
What? In this weather?
I think so, yes.
But she'll catch her death. She'll go the same way as her poor dear mother. Oh, and you won't believe this, miss, but when your poor dear mother died, I saw her spirit rise up and walk across the moors, as plain as I see you now. And what's even funnier, miss, very few people believe me.
You don't say.
I think I hear your sister coming now. Oh, Miss Emily, you're so crude of a skin. Oh, don't fuss so. I was up on the moors near Penistone Crag.
Penistone.
I lost all track of time and was caught by a sudden downpour.
Emily meets her sister Anne. They talk at the window. Anne is a puppet wearing a bonnet.
Oh, hello, Anne. Charlotte, it's Anne.
Hello, Anne. There's a letter for you.
Oh, she does seem excited.
Oh, Anne, don't forget the sugar.
Oh, that was Anne.
Yes, I heard.
Charlotte suddenly clears her throat and indicates the missing portrait. Emily suddenly notices it and does a marvellous double take.
What the dick?
I'm sorry, my dear. I'd hoped you wouldn't notice.
You mean
I'm afraid.
not?
Yes.
Yes. Oh. What?
I'm afraid our poorly afflicted brother, driven by the twin demons of drink, drugs, gambling, and adultery, has pawned our portrait.
Oh, you don't mean he sold it at Drury Lane Market for less than its real worth and used the money to finance his weak habits? All 4 of them?
Yes, he has actually.
Well, I'll be buttered on both sides. There's only one thing for it, sister. We'll have to make our own fame and fortune, weak and feeble women as we are, with probably only a few years to live, judging by that cough. Quickly, my dear, tell me the idea for your story. We must become rich and famous at once.
I thought I would write about the Moorcocks, sister.
But, Charlotte, you don't know them.
But I can imagine what they're like.
Scene 4. Charlotte's fantasy. Charlotte writes in her book.
Mr. Moorcock is a most upstanding member of the community, and by his purposeful stride and haughty looks, one can tell he has great business acumen. But some say his distant, faraway eyes betray a tragic secret.
Thank you, Miss Brontë. That will be all for today. You are proving to be an excellent choice of secretary. Where would I be without your firm grip on my paperwork?
His hand brushed against my blotter. My hopes soared above my lowly social station in that house. Poor servant that I was, with no annuity to my name, could I perhaps possibly dare even hope? No. Hush, my beating heart. I must return to my ledger. In the days and weeks to come, there was a growing tenderness between myself and my employer. I would play for him at the piano, poor though my skill was. Then one day it happened. The thing I had hoped for so long and yet was beyond my wildest dreams.
Miss Brontë, I wonder if you would do me the greatest honor and accept my offer of marriage. You see, Miss Brontë, I don't get out much, and you being such a competent secretary and not especially plain, I think you'll serve well enough. Come, what say you?
Never before had I received such an accolade. Reddening slightly, I wasted no time in accepting this tremendous compliment. I will! frown passed over his brow.
A dark frown passed over his brow.
It seemed like he was concealing a dark and tragic secret. Heavens, dear sir, what was that noise?
Just the wind.
Yes, there's a lot of it about.
All right. It is actually a mad wife of mine whom I've locked in the attic.
But why? You must have good cause, being such an upstanding member of the community as you are.
Miss Brontë, brace yourself. This isn't pretty. You see, she contradicted me at the dinner table.
Oh, my poor, poor darling. How could you have endured such torment for all those years?
I knew you would understand, Miss Brontë.
But what are you going to do?
Set fire to her and pretend it was an accident.
Oh, you brave, brave man.
There is the sound of crackling fire.
And so the happy couple were free to marry. Dee. Unfortunately, he had an accident, became blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. But otherwise, he was no trouble at all. They passed the remaining months and years in blissful happiness, marred only occasionally by his sporadic arson attacks. Finished!
Charlotte lifts up her bound copy of Jane Eyre.
What do you think, Emily? Emily? Typical. Where's your riveting epic, then?
Charlotte, now bored, picks up a tiny book.
Oh, it's Anne's novel. Oh, shocking. I'll save that for later.
Well, I'm off then, miss. I'll put your crumpets in the oven.
That's you done then, Nelly?
Lord love you, miss. I've 6 graves to tend, 5 new victims of tuberculosis to lie out, and a couple of shrouds to run up.
Anyone I know?
Do you remember old Mrs. Keeley? Oh, she'd dandle you on her knees, miss. Oh, she was like a mother to you.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Well, she passed away last night, God rest her soul. And you won't believe this, miss, but I saw her spirit rise up and walk across the moors.
As plain as you see me now, yes, thank you, Nelly. Goodbye.
You're not thinking of going out yourself, are you, miss?
I thought I might just pop out for a bit, yes?
Well, you're not thinking of walking across the moors with the light already fading and the mist coming down.
I thought I would, Nelly, yes.
You're not thinking of going alone, miss?
I was actually, Nelly, yes. Why?
Oh, nothing, miss.
Good.
Except I don't want you to be frightened by silly old tales of lost souls wandering the moors in purgatory. Their desperate wailing and howling, cutting through the icy air and making the hairs stand up on the back of your neck.
Oh, silly, as if that could frighten me.
What's the matter, miss?
Nothing. I thought I heard something, that's all.
Well, say good night then, miss. Have a nice walk.
Nellie exits. Charlotte opens the door. Charlotte changes her mind. Scene 5. Lost souls on the moor. There are 2 of them. There is an old lost soul and a young lost soul.
Is somebody there? Show yourself. You look a bit lost.
Yes, I am lost. I'm a lost soul doomed to wander the moors unfulfilled in my lost desires.
Ooh, I know you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I knew you in life. You were Martha's girl, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
I didn't expect to see you up here so soon. What's brought you here?
I was unfulfilled in life.
We're all unfulfilled up here, you know. Why were you unfulfilled?
'Cause I died.
Oh, love, you're a bit of a misery, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I can't help it. I'm fed up. Is there anything nice to do up here?
Oh, aye. Making life a misery for them down there. Them that still got life and hope and warmth.
How do you do that then?
I'll give 'em a waft.
Waft?
Waft, slang for haunting. Oh, you've not lived, have you?
Not long, no.
Oh, well, you see that man down there?
What, the one with the glasses and the balaclava?
Yeah, aye. Give him a waft. He's looking scared already.
Oh, what now? No, I can't. I'm shy.
Oh, go on. Give it some mustard.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh. I think he's really frightened. He's gone bold.
Not bad for a young lost soul.
So why are you lost soul? Why were you unfulfilled?
Unfulfilled. Unfulfilled? The stories I could tell you. Oh, wind's up. I'm off.
Wait for me. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Scene 6. Invitation to the ball. Back in the drawing room.
Chilly, isn't it? Let's stick this fire up a bit. Ooh, what's this?
Fish it out of the embers, dear Charlotte.
Oh, good heavens, sister. Oh, it's an invitation from Mr. Moorcock and his sister.
Now that would be Miss Moorcock?
Yes, we're invited to a soiree at Ravage Teeth House at 8:30 till late. Bring your own instrument.
I knew it. I had a premonition about Mr. Moorcock. In fact, I've been writing a story about him. Do you want to hear it?
All right, then.
It's set on the moors by Top Withens. I've changed the name of my hero so no one will guess the connection. The man in my story is called Heathcliff and his beloved Cathy.
She takes out an assortment of tiny dolls and places them on the table.
Catherine Earnshaw
A Barbie doll,
lived with her father
a wooden soldier,
and her brother Hindley
a G.I. Joe.
at Wuthering Heights. One day, her father brought home a small gypsy lad called Heathcliff
A troll doll.
to bring up as his own. Heathcliff and Cathy became bosom pals.
The dolls kiss.
But as for Hindley, get lost, you little so-and-so. They didn't get on. And then one day, good old Mr. Earnshaw died. And Hindley took over at Wuthering Heights. Get lost, you little upstart. I'll give you what for. Despite Hindley's horrid treatment of Heathcliff, Cathy and he remained bosom pals
The dolls nuzzle.
and were often seen out on the moors together. It's me. I'm Cathy. Come home now. But one day, Cathy sprained her ankle. Oh, no. And was taken to the house of rich and handsome Edgar Linton.
A Ken doll.
And when she grows up, she decides to marry him, even though she really loves Heathcliff. Oh, Heathcliff, I really love you. Heathcliff goes off in a strop.
I'm fed up with this. I'm off.
He comes back a rich gentleman.
Emily places a small top hat on the troll doll's head.
Oh, hello.
And he married Linton's sister
Polly Pocket.
to get his own back. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And then Cathy dies. Oh, no. And Heathcliff keeps on digging up her body because they are soulmates.
Oh,
Then Heathcliff's wife
My Little Pony.
dies. Oh, no. And leaves him a son
Gumby.
whom he hates and is really horrible to, so that he dies. Oh, no. And then Hindley dies. Oh, no. And his son, Hareton, falls in love with Cathy's daughter, Cathy. No, not that Cathy, the other Cathy. And then Heathcliff dies. Oh, no. And the stranger sees Heathcliff and Cathy's souls on the moors, reunited once more. It's me. It's Cathy. Come home now. So then everyone's happy, but some of them are dead. What do you think?
Charlotte is pretending to be asleep and snores.
I'm sure Hollywood will see the potential if you don't.
Pardon?
Nothing. I'm just ahead of my time.
Well, Heathcliff's a little bit horrid, though, isn't he?
That's the whole point. Don't you see? Heathcliff is a symbol of your working classes, unjustly oppressed by your ruling landed gentry. He, in turn, comes back and wreaks terrible vengeance on them, pays them back for their racist tyranny, and gets the girl in the end, even though she's dead. It's a document for our times.
Yes. Obviously, dear. But couldn't you make him a little bit nicer?
No! That's the whole point. I'm so ahead of my time.
Just a thought. Anyway, you can't publish that. You're a woman.
That's just where you're wrong.
Charlotte looks puzzled.
I'll publish it under an assumed man's name. What think you to Eric Bell?
No, it has a certain ring to it. Perhaps I could publish as your brother, Clive Bell.
It lacks distinction somehow. Anne wishes to write as Acton Bell.
Acton? Acton?
Oh, this is the life, sister. Can you imagine if our books were actually published and we became the famous Bell brothers?
We're the Bell brothers. There are no others like us. Thank God.
Audrey will now introduce the interval.
Oh, it has been a packed first half, hasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Lots of historical facts and figures, so stop your scribbling, books away.
We're now going to have a brief interval.
But first, we'd like to draw your attention to our trolley.
Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you, Olivia. Yes, during the interval, the Nibble's own private collection of Brontë biscuits will be available. There is also a visitor's book for your comments.
Please feel free to come up and have a nibble.
And if you've got any questions about this or the whole evening, we shall be mingling during the interval. And if anyone might like to know how to convert their bridesmaid's dress into an authentic Brontë outfit, I'm the one to look for.
We would now like to introduce the genuine Brontë interval. Thank you.
Well, that's the interval finished. Second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half. Audrey?
Enter Audrey, picking her teeth.
Oh, hello. Brief intervals just fly by. Still got a bit of Brontë biscuit stuck on my teeth. Now, we've been having a chat with some of the audience, haven't we, Olivia?
We have indeed.
And there was one question.
Oh, yes.
Yes, somebody came up to us in interval, didn't they, Olivia?
Yes, they did.
And they said, what about the dad? We've not seen hide nor hair of old Patrick Brontë. Well, what do you think we are?
Illusionists? There's only 2 of us, you know. There's a limit to the number of costume changes 2 people can do.
I mean, what have we done?
Well, we've done Emily.
Charlotte.
We've done Anne.
Nellie the housekeeper.
Nellie.
And Lost Souls.
Mr. Morcott.
Jane. You.
Heathcliff.
Heathcliff.
Edgar Linton.
Yes, and then Kathy's sister and Kathy. And somebody comes up and says,
What about
the
dad?
the giddy limit.
So,
On to our next scene. As you remember, some of you, Charlotte and Emily had received an invitation to a soiree at the Moorcocks. They decide to go against their father's wishes. Satisfied. Our next scene finds them at the Moorcocks' house in a flat spin.
Audrey and Olivia put on their shawls in preparation for the ball scene.
there's always one, isn't there?
I bet they haven't even made a donation.
Nitpicking old so-and-so.
Olivia turns and opens her little fan. Audrey turns and opens an enormous one.
Audrey?
Reluctantly, Audrey goes off and returns with a normal-size fan.
Thank you, Audrey.
Scene 7. The soiree.
Where's Anne?
She didn't want to come. Oh, this is the night, Charlotte. I can feel it in my waters. We're really going to come out tonight.
But we won't know anybody.
Well, we'll just sit in a corner, and then people will be mesmerically drawn towards us by our inner serenity and charm.
Do you think so?
Oh, yes. I feel such a close affinity with Mr. Moorcock. It is as if we are destined to wander the moors together, with the wild purple heather, the soaring eagles, the wailing wind, and the twisted shapes of the...
Blasted stumps.
Just wait. In 10 minutes, he will be mine.
Oh, no, Emily, you don't know him how I know him. He's a quiet, unobtrusive man, content and almost fulfilled. And yet there is a gap in his life where one might intrude. I think he's in need of my tender, clerical assistance, my quiet, firm hand on his bookwork. Oh, yes, Emily, I think there's a hole I can plug.
Well, if it's a plumber he wants, Charlotte, I'll point him in your direction.
And if it's a field trip he wants, I'll point him in yours.
Shh! I think I can hear Mr. Moorcock's voice.
As they open the double doors to reveal the ballroom, they sit back down and listen to the voice of Mr. Moorcock.
Well, now then, you'd have come along the A650 as far as Keighley, then down the A6033, which is a dog's hind leg, as you say. Whereas if I were coming from Bingley, I'd say your best way was to come off the A650 at Eldwick, and then take the B6429 through Harden, which is more direct, you see. No, Harden, that's it. Mind you, the B6429 does have that nasty hairpin bend you got to watch out for, unless I'm thinking of the Hepstonstall Road. Anyway, if you must come through Keighley, you want to avoid the town centre as much as you can and come out on the B6143, which brings you out via Oakworth. Then it's a fast road, you see. Mind you, it's a lot simpler coming from Shipley, in which case you can cut across on the B6144 and join the A629, and you're practically there.
Charlotte and Emily fan themselves.
Soulmate?
Tender clerical assistance.
Well, I suppose he knows his ordnance survey maps.
Useful.
We've been here an hour and no one so much as offered us a sweet martini.
Well, if he's the most eligible bachelor in the whole of West Yorkshire, my name's Diana Gabaldon.
Pardon?
Nothing. I'm just ahead of my time.
Oh, I've had enough. I'm off. I'm bored to twitters.
Well, at least we can have a dance before we go.
Nobody's asked us.
We'll just have to go bust to bust.
Charlotte and Emily perform a fan dance.
Well, I don't know about you, but I must confess to feeling somewhat...
Disappointed?
disillusioned.
Disenchanted. He's even more boring than Branwell.
And it's quite wrong about the B64129 being quicker than the A650.
I mean, is that all there is?
Is that all there is to a man?
Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, dear sis, then let's stop hankering. I'd rather stay home and talk to the wall. If that's all there is.
Oh, it was a poor do.
Oh, I know.
They never met anyone. And when they did...
Dollars ditch water.
So it was back to their books.
That's right.
You wonder where it all came from.
Or what?
All that heaving passion from two such innocents.
Yes, it was all up here, nothing down...
Thank you, Audrey.
So where are we up to now? Oh, yes. The breakfast scene in which Charlotte eats some sausages.
Scene 8. Breakfast. Charlotte sits at the breakfast table. Enter Nellie with sausages.
Here's your lovely breakfast, miss.
Thank you, Nellie.
Lovely sausage for you, miss. Lovely sausage for Miss Emily. And lovely sausage for Miss Anne.
Where's Branwell?
He's dead, miss.
Oh, I thought I hadn't seen him today.
And you won't believe this, miss, but I saw his spirit rise up and walk across the moors.
As plain as you see me now, yes. Thank you, Nellie. Goodbye.
I'll get back to Miss Shrouds then, miss, and leave you to your fan mail.
Nellie exits. She re-enters with an enormous mailbag.
I've never seen so much fan mail. The postman's bent double.
Thank you, Nellie. Not as many as usual, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, miss, I'm off. Morning, Charlotte.
Morning, Emily.
Charlotte eats her sausage.
Where's Anne?
She's dead.
Oh, she won't be wanting breakfast then.
Helps herself to Anne's sausage.
I see your post has arrived.
Yes, people are so kind.
I'm really pleased for you, Charlotte.
Oh, there's a letter here for you as well, dear.
Emily snatches it away.
At last.
Thank you. It's from London, judging by the London postmark. It might be a long-awaited answer from the publisher. Not that I'm one to pry.
Emily tears open the letter and skims its contents. Charlotte tries to read over her shoulder.
Filth and blasphemy.
Oh, no, let me see.
They're calling Wuthering Heights filth and blasphemy.
Oh, no, I think Wuthering Heights is a better
They're
title.
saying it's disgusting and obscene.
A little story.
They don't like the bit where Cathy dies and Heathcliff keeps on digging up her body for a cuddle.
Oh, Emily, I'm sorry.
I'll never write another word.
Flinging her letter down.
Mind your sausage! Could you not just take the digging up bit out, Emily? Perhaps Cathy doesn't die and you could finish your lovely story with a picnic.
No! What's the point?
Emily exits.
Just a thought. Emily? Well, I don't think I can manage 3 sausages.
Scene 9. Lost Souls. Enter old lost soul puffing, followed by young lost soul.
How did you see that?
Well,
That spirit rise up and walk across the moors.
no, I missed it.
It were one of the Brontë brood.
Will they be stopping off here then?
Happen they might. Depends on the extent of the unfulfillment.
How can you tell?
Oh, it's like dry rot, you see. You don't know you got it till your house falls down.
Oh.
You see, with the Brontë sisters, everything seems all right on the surface.
Surface, yes.
But underneath,
Underneath, yes.
it's a festering mass
Oh,
of blighted hopes and unfulfilled desires.
I've got a festering mass.
Have you?
You're on my toe where I stubbed it.
Did you?
Yes, indeed. I stubbed it on a blasted stump.
Well, you want to watch that. It could turn inwards and go septic.
Ah, are you septic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the stories I could tell you. In my youth, I learned the way to bliss celestial was to look on my emotions as quite bestial. All through my life I held my breath and kept my knees together. Now I must spend life after death upon this moorland heather, a poor lost soul to wander in this bloody, awful weather. It's no life being a ghost. No, it's no life being a ghost. It's no life being a ghost. While I lived, I was repressed. Now I'm dead, I cannot rest. And it's no life being a ghost. As a girl, I was a model of sobriety, a paragon of chastity and piety. Although I'd many suitors, yet I never met my match. If anyone should kiss me, I'd begin to itch and scratch. I couldn't help but think of the diseases I could catch. but it's no life being a ghost. At last I died, frustrated and dissatisfied. My angry soul can't be persuaded that it's died. You can't save yourself forever. There's a price that must be paid. You can't cash in your savings. Your investment has decayed. I can't get no satisfaction. Will this ghost never be laid? Oh, it's no life being a ghost. No, it's no life being a ghost. It's no life being a ghost. While I lived, I was repressed. Now I'm dead, I cannot rest. And it's no life being a ghost.
Oh dear, it was all so sad. All the Brontë sisters dying all in a rush. They all went so fast, one after the other. No time to say goodbye.
But life was like that in the 19th century, Audrey.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we've gone for being authentic.
Yes, I know.
Her sister's dead.
Oh.
Audrey, Charlotte was left to face life alone. Alone she would sit in the parlour. Alone she would pace up and down. Alone she would stand by the window. Alone, alone, all alone.
Scene 10. Charlotte. Alone.
I don't know why I keep thinking it's Thursday.
Nellie bursts through the door.
All right, me lovely.
Oh, Nellie, I'm so glad you're here. I've had no one to talk to all year.
Well, I can't stop, miss. I got a lot of shrouds to starch. Are you feeling all right, miss?
Yes, Nellie, why?
Just thinking ahead. By the way, miss, that Mr. Nichols is here again.
What, dreary old Mr. Nichols, who's been courting me for years, who I was going to marry out of pity, but my father forbade it?
Yeah, I think he's come for another try now that everyone is dead and you're on your own. Perhaps you should give it a whirl.
All right then, Nellie, I will. So, Charlotte was happily married, but not for long, because shortly afterwards she died, which does seem a shame, doesn't it? But handy for us, because it makes for a short evening. I mean, I don't know about you, but I got something bubbling away in a slow cooker.
Audrey.
Oh, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the pièce de résistance, that's French, of our entire evening. I've been looking forward to this ever since I got up this morning. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a little taste of Hollywood. The MGM version of Wuthering Heights, to be precise. In this extract, I will be taking the part of Heathcliff. And Olivia will be giving us her Merle Oberon.
Enter Olivia in a wonderful gown.
Oh, that's lovely. I haven't got anything like that, of course.
Where's Flora Robeson?
I haven't got a Flora.
What about David Niven?
Just get the bus, David Niven.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present the MGM version of Wuthering Heights. Cue music and lights.
They are on the moors.
Heathcliff,
Coffee,
Heathcliff,
coffee,
Heathcliff.
coffee,
Oh, Heathcliff,
coffee.
look at it. It's so beautiful. Let's stay here forever.
Coffee,
Heathcliff.
run away with me.
Oh, Heathcliff.
Coffee,
Fill my arms with heather, all that they can hold.
Heathcliff looks for Heather.
If Heathcliff and I married, we would be beggars. It would degrade me to marry Heathcliff. Heathcliff's not a man, but something dark and horrible to live with.
Heathcliff overhears this and leaves in a strop.
2 years later, at David Niven's house.
Enter Heathcliff with a top hat and cane.
Heathcliff, you're back. And a gentleman. But you're too late. I've betrayed you and myself and married David Niven. And now I'm going to die for you.
Cuffy, why are you killing yourself?
Will you forget me when I'm in the earth, Heathcliff?
I could as soon forget you as my own life.
Forgive me, Heathcliff.
No, Cuffy, my tears don't love you. They blight and curse and damn you. Cuffy, you loved me. What right had you to throw that away?
Heathcliff, don't. We have so little time. Heathcliff, let me see how strong you are. Carry me to the window. Let me look at the moors with you one more time.
Heathcliff struggles to pick up Cathy and carry her to the window.
Look at it. It's so beautiful. You see our rock upon Penistone Crag?
Penistone!
I'll wait for you until you come.
Pardon? Leave her alone. She's mine. She's mine now. They're praying for you, Cuffy. What do they know of heaven and hell who know nothing of life? I'll say one prayer with them. Catherine Earnshaw, haunt me then. Haunt your murderer. I know that ghosts have wandered the earth. Take any form you like. Drive me mad. Only do not leave me in the dark alone where I cannot find you. I cannot live without my life. I cannot die without my soul.
Scene 11. Heaven. Emily and Charlotte are in heaven. They are wearing their shrouds. They have been watching the MGM version of Wuthering Heights. Charlotte is weeping.
I'm sorry, it was just so sad at the end. What did you think, sister?
Well, I quite liked the lion at the beginning. But apart from that, I think they missed the point.
Well, Heathcliff wasn't so horrid, was he? That manly Laurence Olivier.
I don't know. You spend your short time on Earth writing a revolutionary masterpiece, and they turn it into a Sunday afternoon weepy, and not a Yorkshire accent in sight.
You know, Emily, it's not the Sunday serials. It's not the fact they've ruined your book. It's the money.
I never got a penny from this. Just think what we could have done with all that brass. We could have had anyone. Pick of the bunch.
Oh, yes, the Duke of Wellington.
Whoa. Think of the boots.
Oof, I like the leather ones.
With buckles.
Oh, yes, buckles and a little chain round the heel.
This shroud's stiff.
Oh, what, after 150 years?
She knew her starch, did Nellie.
You know the thing that really gets my goat, Emily?
What?
Double glazing. If we did storm windows in 1840, we wouldn't be dead now.
Where's Anne?
Just popped out for some hot practice.
Oh. I'm fed up. There's nothing to do up here.
Oh, well, I'm perfectly content. I'm having a lovely time sitting on a cloud having celestial thoughts.
I don't belong with the angels, Charlotte. I belong with the elements, the wild purple heather, the soaring eagles, the wailing wind, and the twisted shapes of the
Blasted stumps.
They exchange a final withering look.
Well, that's it for the Brontë sisters. We hope you have enjoyed our little journey.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, next week we shall be looking at Beatrix Potter.
Audrey and Olivia produce 2 white fluffy bunny rabbits from behind the Nibbles trolley.
Now I've got to dash as I've got to cut up my sheepskin rug for a couple of ears for Peter Rabbit.
And I shall be having a stab at Jemima Puddle Duck.
So from all of us here at Nibbles,
Bye-bye,
bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Fan.
That's French.
The end.
We hope you enjoyed our Signet Radio Hour presentation of Withering Looks. Now that you've heard this story, we invite you to listen to our companion conversation with Britain's own favorite literary lunatics, Maggie Fox and Sue Riding, founders of Lip Service Theatre. Just return to the Signet Radio Hour page and click the conversation link. Our lovely actors were Sarah Lucht, Vanna O'Brien and Louisa Sermo. Rhodey Ortega created our sound design. Mike DiNapoli is chief engineer and editor. Carol Ann Woolmett is our line producer. All Signet Radio Hour broadcasts are recorded according to COVID guidelines at the studio at North Rim. Find out more about the Signet Radio Hour and all of our presentations at signetproductions.com. I'm your host, Luann Moldovan. Thank you for listening to the Signet Radio Hour.